The sky turned a terrifying shade of orange, smoke filled the air, choking the city, acrid smells stung the eyes and throat. Los Angeles is no stranger to wildfires, but this time, it's different. This time, the fires are relentless. They are unstoppable. The year is 2025. It began with hope, but a new reality has set in, a reality of fear, displacement, and loss. Across the sprawling metropolis, 5 separate fires rage. Fueled by fierce winds and bone-dry vegetation, they consume everything in their path. Over 180,000 people have been forced to flee their homes, their lives upended, their futures uncertain. The lucky ones escaped with just the clothes on their backs. Many others were left with nothing but the haunting memories of what once was. This is a story of survival, of courage, and of the indomitable spirit of a city tested by fire. This is the story of the Los Angeles wildfires of 2025. It started quietly, almost innocently, a flicker of flame in the parched hills above Pacific Palisades. But then the wind hit. Hurricane-force gusts, exceeding 90 miles per hour on the mountain peaks, turned the small fire into a raging inferno. The Palisades fire, as it came to be known, exploded with terrifying speed. In a matter of hours, it consumed 177,000 acres. By January 7th, it had grown to a monstrous 2,900 acres. Homes, businesses, and cherished landmarks were reduced to smoldering rubble in its wake. The Getty Villa, a renowned museum housing priceless antiquities, was devoured by the flames. Palisades Charter High School, a community hub, was also lost. The fire jumped freeways and fire breaks, defying all attempts at containment. It was a scene of utter chaos and devastation, and it wasn't alone. The Eaton Fire, the Hearst Fire, and other smaller blazes erupted across the region, stretching firefighting resources to their breaking point. Los Angeles was under siege, a city at war with an invisible enemy. The aftermath is a scene of unimaginable destruction. Entire neighborhoods have been reduced to ash. Charred trees stand like skeletal sentinels against the smoky sky. The air is heavy with the smell of smoke and the stench of chemicals. The human toll of the fires is still being calculated, but it is already tragically clear that many lives have been lost. The official count stands at 11, but that number is expected to rise as rescuers continue to search through the debris. Behind each number is a story of heartbreak, a family torn apart, a life cut short. Thousands of homes have been destroyed. Landmarks that once stood as symbols of the city's history and culture have been lost forever. The Pasadena Jewish Temple, a place of worship and community gathering for generations, is now a pile of rubble. The iconic Hollywood sign is barely visible through the thick smoke, a stark reminder of the devastation that has befallen this vibrant city. The economic impact is staggering. Businesses have been destroyed, livelihoods shattered. The cost of rebuilding will be immense. Amidst the devastation, stories of incredible human resilience and compassion emerge. Marina, a Ukrainian refugee who had only recently found safety and a new life in Los Angeles, lost everything in the fire. Her apartment building was reduced to ashes, taking with it all her possessions and the few remaining mementos of her life back home. But even in the face of such overwhelming loss, Marina's spirit remained unbroken. "I will rebuild," she vowed, her voice filled with a quiet determination. "I have survived worse." Aaron Sampson, a young man who had stayed behind to help his elderly relatives evacuate, risked his life to save others. As flames closed in on his neighborhood, Aaron drove his grandparents to safety, then turned back to help his neighbors. He spent hours driving through smoke-filled streets, guiding disoriented residents to evacuation centers. "I just did what I had to do," he said modestly. "We all look out for each other in times like these." Ellen DeLosh-Bacher faced an impossible choice. As the fire approached her home, she knew she had to evacuate, but her 95-year-old mother, bedridden and frail, was unable to move. With a heavy heart, Ellen made the agonizing decision to leave her mother behind, hoping against hope that the fire would spare her. She fled to the beach with her family, the sound of sirens and the glow of flames haunting her every step. "It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do," she said, tears streaming down her face. "But I had to believe that she would be okay." These are just a few of the countless stories of courage, compassion, and resilience that have emerged from the ashes of the Los Angeles wildfires. Section 5. Battling the Beast. Firefighters on the front line. On the front lines of this inferno, firefighters are waging a desperate battle against an unforgiving enemy. Exhausted and working in harrowing conditions, these brave men and women are risking their lives to save lives and protect property. From the moment the first alarm sounded, they have been working tirelessly, battling not only the flames but also fatigue, dehydration, and the ever-present threat of shifting winds. The fires are unlike anything they have ever seen. The speed and ferocity of the flames, fueled by the dry conditions and driven by the relentless winds, have made it nearly impossible to gain the upper hand. Water drops from helicopters have proven largely ineffective, the wind scattering the water before it can reach the flames. Bulldozers struggle to carve fire breaks in the rugged terrain, only to see their work quickly overrun by the advancing firestorm. Adding to the challenge is the sheer scale of the disaster. With multiple fires burning simultaneously across a vast area, resources have been stretched thin. Firefighters from neighboring states and even as far away as Canada have arrived to help, but the demand for manpower and equipment remains overwhelming. The situation is further complicated by the fact that many firefighters are themselves victims of the fires, their own homes and families directly in harm's way. Yet, despite the exhaustion, the danger, and the overwhelming odds, these courageous men and women continue to fight. They are the last line of defense for a city under siege, a beacon of hope in a time of unimaginable despair. Section 6. Darkness brings desperation, looting in the ruins. As if the fires weren't enough, a new threat has emerged from the ashes: looting. Taking advantage of the chaos and displacement, criminals have been targeting evacuated neighborhoods, their greed preying on the vulnerability of those who have already lost so much. Reports of looting began to surface soon after the evacuation orders were given. Homes and businesses left empty and vulnerable were broken into and ransacked. Precious belongings, some irreplaceable, were stolen. The sense of violation and anger among residents is palpable. Law enforcement has stepped up patrols in affected areas, but the widespread nature of the disaster makes it difficult to provide adequate security. The National Guard has been deployed to assist with security, but their presence is limited. Adding to the challenge is the fact that many law enforcement officers are themselves victims of the fires, their own homes and families displaced by the disaster. The looting has added another layer of stress and trauma to an already devastating situation. It is a stark reminder that even in the darkest of times, there are those who would exploit the suffering of others for their own gain. Section 7. A perfect storm, dry conditions and raging winds. The wildfires raging across Los Angeles are the result of a dangerous convergence of factors. This isn't just bad luck. This is a disaster years in the making. Months of severe drought have left the vegetation tinder dry, creating a landscape primed to burn. The region has experienced below-average rainfall for several years, depleting water sources and increasing fire danger. Climate change has exacerbated these conditions, with rising temperatures and changing weather patterns contributing to more frequent and intense droughts. Adding fuel to the fire are the Santa Ana winds, powerful, dry winds that blow westward from the desert towards the coast. These winds, which typically occur in the fall and winter months, can reach hurricane-force strength, fanning even the smallest spark into a raging inferno. The combination of dry vegetation and strong winds creates the perfect conditions for rapid fire spread, making it extremely difficult for firefighters to contain the blazes. The current wildfires are a stark reminder of the increasing threat posed by climate change. As temperatures continue to rise and weather patterns become more extreme, the risk of wildfires will only continue to grow. Section 8. A nation responds aid and assistance. As the scale of the disaster became apparent, the nation responded with an outpouring of support. President Biden declared the Los Angeles wildfires a major disaster, ordering federal aid to supplement state and local recovery efforts. The declaration makes federal funding available to affected individuals and businesses in Los Angeles County, including assistance for temporary housing, home repairs, and low-interest loans to cover uninsured property losses. Governor Newsom, who had already declared a state of emergency for Los Angeles County, praised the president's swift action, saying that California is grateful for the ongoing support from our federal partners, as we continue to battle these devastating wildfires and support those on the front lines. The governor also activated the California National Guard to assist with firefighting and rescue efforts. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, has deployed teams to California to assist with disaster relief efforts. FEMA is working with state and local officials to assess damage, coordinate the delivery of aid, and establish disaster recovery centers where affected individuals can access information and resources. In addition to federal assistance, numerous organizations, including the American Red Cross, the Salvation Army, and local community groups, have mobilized to provide shelter, food, water, and other essential supplies to those displaced by the fires. The outpouring of support from across the country is a testament to the spirit of compassion and solidarity that unites Americans in times of crisis. Section 9. From the ashes, a community rebuilds. The road to recovery will be long and arduous. The physical scars left by the fires will take years to heal. The emotional toll on those who have lost loved ones, homes, and livelihoods will likely last a lifetime. Yet even amidst the devastation, there is hope. The spirit of the people of Los Angeles remains unbroken. Neighbors are helping neighbors, strangers are lending a hand, communities are coming together to support those who have lost everything. The process of rebuilding has already begun. Donations have been pouring in from across the country and around the world. Volunteers are flocking to affected areas to help with cleanup and rebuilding efforts. The city of Los Angeles has established a recovery fund to provide financial assistance to residents and businesses impacted by the fires. There is a long road ahead, but the people of Los Angeles are resilient. They have faced adversity before, and they will face this challenge with the same determination and spirit that has always defined this city. From the ashes of this disaster, a stronger, more resilient Los Angeles will emerge. Please subscribe to Deep Insiders and like this video.